Okay, maybe somebody else should be giving the DAF. Okay, Yirchas Amud Aleph. We are discussing the Tamei Shel Nazar. We're calling a regular Nazir, and then we have a Tamei Shel Nazar. That means he was in the cemetery when he took the Nazirus, as opposed to a regular Nazir who becomes Tamei. So we said that a regular Nazir who becomes Tamei, so he shaves his head on the 7th day, and he brings a special korban on the 8th day. Besides, for the sprinkling on 3 and 7, and the mikvah on day number 7, that's a regular tamei mace. But a nazir, shetama, so he shaves his head on the 7th day and brings a special korban on the 8th day. So you discussed before this that a nazir who becomes tamei, he brings a korban on the 8th day. But a tamei shenazar, a person who becomes a nazir while he's already tamei, so he in fact would not bring the special korban on day number 8. And the Gemara is dealing with the question now, okay, he doesn't bring the special korban on day number 8, but does a tamei shenazar have to shave his head on day number 7? Because again, there's two additional things by a nazir shetahor. A nazir tahor shaves his head on day number 7 and brings the korban on day number 8. So you've already proved to me that he doesn't bring a korban on day number 8, but does he shave his head like a regular nazir on day number 7, a nazir that was tamei when he became a nazir, because he was in the cemetery? Tashma, v'timei rosh nizro. He cuts the head. So at first glance, it's talking about a regular Nazir Tahor who needs to cut his hair and needs to bring the tziporin, the birds, on day number 8. And it's going to be pater a Nazir bekever, which we said is a tamei shenazar. And the Gemara says, "V'lo dvarim kal v'chomer." You should have a kal v'chomer. U'mator shenit maton v'avar sar v'havar se'ar v'havar siporin misha hayatami mitchila ino din she'eton avar se'ar v'havar siporin. If you're telling me seemingly that this is part of the kapara process, so you would think that for sure if a guy who's tahor needs to go ahead and shave his head on day number 7 and bring a korban, a special korban on day number 8, you would think for sure a guy that became a nazir when he was already tamei, for sure he should have to bring the special korban on day number 8, and he should have to shave his head on day number 7. Says the Gemara, Talmud Lomar v'timei rosh nizro v'misha hayatahor v'nitma hakasu medaber sheiton avar se'ar v'avar siporin. It says dafka v'timei rosh nizro. It's like a limud that only he needs to go ahead. A regular nazir v'lifter as a nazir bekever shmamina. But a tamei shenazar, just like he doesn't have to bring a korban on day number 8, he does not shave his head on day number 7. Mantana. Haditana Rabbanan. Who is the Tana that says the following? Ein bein tamei shenazar lenazir tahor shenitma ela shetamei shenazar shvi shela ololo min haminyan v'nazir tahor shenitma ein shvi shela ololo min haminyan. So again, we said everybody sprinkles on 3 and 7 and goes to the mikvah on 7. Regular nazir goes ahead and shaves his head on 7 and brings a korban on 8. Tamei shenazar doesn't go ahead and bring the korban on 8 and doesn't shave his head on day number 7. So you see in this brisa that the only difference between a regular tamei shenazar and a regular nazir is, I guess seemingly besides for those two other things, is that for a regular nazir the 8th day counts as the first day. It means the day that he brings his korban, that counts as the first day, because until he brings his korban, he's still a nazir that's tamei. And when you become tahor, you need to go ahead and you need to restart the count. So over here, if you become tahor, so if you're becoming tahor on day number 8, when you bring the korban, that's when you start the new count. Because again, now you have to restart. Let's just say stam nazir 30 days. You have to start a new count of 30 days. So on the day that you bring the korban, that's when you start the new count. But a nazir who was tamei when he became a nazir, he's not bringing any korban on day number 8. And therefore he starts his new count on day number 7 after going to the mikvah. Since there's nothing else for him to do, there's no shaving his head, there's no bringing of a korban on day number 8, so he starts the new nazirus on day number 7. So who does that go like? Amar Rav Chisda Rabbi. That's like Rabbi. To Amar Rabbi ein nazirus tarachala ela achmini. That's like Rabbi, who says that the regular nazir, when he becomes tamei, and now he wants to start his nazirus again, so he can't start until day number 8, i.e. the day that he brings the korban. To etem Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda, because if he says Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda, ha'amar nazirus tetara mishvihu dechayla. Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda actually holds that even though a regular nazir shaves his head on day number 7 and doesn't bring the korban until day number 8, even though the korban is not being brought until day number 8, he can actually start the new count on day number 7. My Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda. Where do you see this opinion of Rabbi who holds that the new nazirus can't start till day number 8? i.e. day number 8 of the Torah process. So now he officially becomes Torah, he brings the Korban, and the new process starts, the new Nazir starts on day number 8. And according to Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda, even though he's not going to bring the Korban until tomorrow, again, he's agreeing that you bring a Korban. It's a regular Nazir we're talking about. But Lamais, you could start the new count even the day before you brought the Korban, after you went to the mikvah, and after you sprinkled with the Parah Aduma on day number 7. So where do we see these opinions? My Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda. Titania, because we have a brisa. V'kidash es rosho bayomahu. And you're able to be mekadesh your head. What does that mean, mekadesh? That doesn't mean the same as we said before. It's not v'tamei rosh nizro or v'timei rosh nizro. It doesn't mean you cut your hair. Now you're mekadesh your head by letting the hair grow. So when exactly do you let the hair grow? By yom havas korbanos of Rebbe. The Rebbe says you start the new count. You let the hair start growing. Biyom havas korbanos. What day is that? Day number 8. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda, Omer biyom tigalcha. So when do you start the new count? On the day that you cut your hair. When do you shave the head? On day number 7. And that's the two opinions that we just saw. Again, Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda will agree you bring the korban on day number 8, just so you could start the new count before the day of bringing the korban. So we had a brisa that supported Rabbi, or that showed us, we had a brisa which expressed the opinion of Rabbi, Ein bein tamei shenaza. Now we're going to bring a brisa that works with the opinion of Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda. V'hadinan nazir shenitma tumas harbe einu mevi ala korban echad. A nazir that has multiple tumas, he only brings one korban. So we have two facts in this Mishnah that we need to go ahead and work out. We have the fact that the person is having a lot of tumas, because we have to figure out what the case is. So we have to find a case where the person is having multiple tumas, but at the same time he has multiple tumas, he's only bringing one korban. So can we find a case within Rabbi, and can we find a case within Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda, where a Nazir is going to have multiple tumas, but he still only brings one korban? So let's see. Mantana. Who's this Tana? Amar Rav Chisda, Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda. It only works within Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda. The Amar Nazirus Tara Mishvi Chayla, who held that the new count starts from the 7th day. Umishkachas la kigon shenitma b'shvi v'chazav v'nitma b'shvi. What's the case here where you could have multiple tumas but you only bring one korban? Where he went ahead and he becomes tamei on the 7th day. Again, the 7th day of his Tara process. So now he sprinkled the stuff, goes to the mikvah, and he becomes tamei. Okay, therefore what? Or before he went to mikvah, either way, and then it keeps happening every 7 days. So what's happening? Since the time hasn't come to bring a korban, because he hasn't ever made it to day number 8, therefore he only brings one korban. Why is it called Tumos Harbe? Because Lamaisa, he could start the new count on day number 7. So we found a case where he's starting the new count every day number 7. He basically went, sprinkled mikvah, starting the new count, but you haven't yet finished the old count. That's really Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda's thing, that you can sort of overlap. The last day of the process, day number 8, is already day number 2 of the new process. So we found a case where you went ahead and you started the new count. So for all intents and purposes, you've become tahor already. You started the new count. Now when you become tamei on day number 7 after starting the new count, that's considered to be tumos harbe. Now you have multiple tumas. You have the original tuma. Now you're becoming tamei again on day number 7, which is also day number 1 of the new count. However, why do you only bring one korban? Because l'maisa, the chiyur for the korban wasn't chal yet on day number 7. It's not chal till day number 8. Therefore, when you became tamei on day number 7, even though it was a new count, it was still part of the original count in terms of the korban. And therefore, if you become tamei every day number 7, that's considered to be multiple tumas, because every day number 7, you're starting day number 1 for the next 30 days, for the new Nazirus. So it's considered to be tumas harbe, but you wouldn't be chayiv a korban for each one, since you haven't brought the korban the next day yet. So therefore, you would only be chayiv one korban for all those tumas. So we were able to work out a case within Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda, where this brisa, where this Mishnah makes sense, where you could have tumas harbe and still only one korban. We'll see that we can't do that within Rabbi. Why? Let's see. Says the Gemara, D'itema Rabbihi. So now, Mimanavshach, what are the two choices? Either you became tamei on day number 7, or you became tamei on day number 8. Neither one of them is going to work within Rabbi. Why? Because if you become tamei every single time on the 7th day, so kulu tuma richtahi. Well, according to Rabbi, nothing's happened on the 7th day. On the 7th day, you can't start the new count, and therefore getting tamei on day number 7 is like becoming tamei on the last day of the Shiva Nikim. It's like becoming tamei on the last day of the Tumah, you're still Tameh at the time that you become Tameh again. According to Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Huda, you were already, quote unquote, at least half Tahor when you became Tameh again, so you have a new Tumah, that's multiple Tumahs. Here, you never got into the status of Tahara, because Lamaisa, you haven't been able to start the count. The new count doesn't start till day number 8, and therefore, if we're talking about a case where you keep getting Tameh on day number 7, why is it called Tumos Harbe? Why is it called multiple Tumahs? At the end of the day, it's all one long Tumah. And if we're talking about a case where you keep becoming Tameh on the 8th day, so then then the second part of the mission doesn't make sense. Why do you only bring one korban? If the case is that you keep getting Tameh on day number 8, so then basically the new count started. The chiyuv for the korban was already chal. Now when you become Tameh again, you have a new korban, and a new korban, and a new korban. So Memanashach, it doesn't make sense. Within Rabbi, either you should tell me that it's not Tumas Harbe, and you're only chayav one korban, or you should say it's Tumas Harbe, but if it's Tumas Harbe, that means you're getting chayav, that you're getting Tumeh on the 8th day, and therefore it should be multiple korbanos. It only works with Rabbi Yossi, where you start the new count on one day, and the chiyuv for the korban only comes the next day. Therefore you have Tumas Harbe every day number 7, when you become Tumeh every day number 7, but there's only one korban, because you only can be chayav the new korban if the korban chiyuv was chal already, which is not until tomorrow on day number 8. And that's where if we have this brisa, which this Mishnah supports the opinion of Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Huda, and the other Mishnah, Ein Bein Tamei Shenazir L'Nazir Tar, supports the opinion of Rabbi.
So he wouldn't be able to bring the actual korban then?
No, he's Tamei.
He's Tamei.
But now he's Al Kol Echad Ve'echad. When you're done, you'll be schlepping a lot of animals to Jerusalem. My time at the Rebbe. Lamaisa, what's the reason of Rebbe? It means we know that Rebbe says that you can't start the new count until day number 8, and Rabbi Yossi Beruda says you can start the new count on day number 7. Lamaisa, what's their svaras? My time at the Rebbe. Amar Kra v'chiper alav me'asher chata ala nafesh. That you can go ahead and you get kapara for chata ala nefesh. What do you see here? That you have the kapara. Then you go ahead, and after you have the kapara, then you can go ahead and you can start the new naziris. V'kidash rosho. You make your head kadosh. How do you do that? Well, how do you get the kapara? You finish the kapara when you bring the korban on day number 8. Then v'kidash rosho. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Huda says what? In Kain Lema Kra v'kidash esrosho. Yeah, that's very nice. If it would say v'chiper alav me'asher chatal nefesh v'kidash esrosho, you'd be right. But it says v'kidash esrosho bayomahu. Bayomahu lamali. What does it mean bayomahu? It's obviously bayomahu. When else are you doing it? So it must be that it says v'chiper alav me'asher chatal nefesh V'kidash es rosho bayomahu. V'kidash es rosho bayomahu, going back to the day of the Tiglachas, i.e., day number 7. So says the Gemara, Rebbe Nami Aksiv bayomahu. So what does Rebbe learn with bayomahu? If seemingly you don't need it to tell me day number 8. So we have another chiddush here. Rebbe says day number 8 you could start the count. Rebbe says day number 8 you start the count once the chiyuv for the korban is chal, even if you don't bring the korban yet. Okay, what's the nafkamina? Well, let's say you don't bring the korban on day number 8 for whatever reason. So one might have thought, before we saw bayomahu, one would think that according to Rebbe, you have to wait till day number 8. Not only do you have to wait till day number 8, you have to wait until you bring the korban. No, even Rebbe agrees that day number 8 you start the new count even if you don't end up bringing the korban. Rabbi Yossi doesn't need this learning because Rabbi Yossi says you could start counting on day number 7. Forget about the korban at all. So comes Rabbi Yossi says you start counting the new count day number 7, bring the korban day number 8. Rabbi says you start counting day number 8, bring the korban day number 8. But if you don't bring the korban day number 8, you can still count day number 8 as the first day of the new Naziris. So that's Rabbi and that's Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda. V'Rav Chisda, my duchge la'ok make Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda. Now, the first Mishnah, again, we had a brisa that supports Rabbi Yossi and a brisa that supports Rabbi. Now, the first one that supports Rabbi, there's no way to explain as being Rabbi Yossi, because the brisa clearly says, Ein bein tamei shenazar lenazir tar shenidma ela shetamei shenazar shvi shelo olam en aminyan. He could start counting on the 7th day, but a nazir tar can't start counting on the 7th day. That's clearly like Rabbi. But now the Gemara is going to suggest that maybe the second brisa, or the Mishnah, which mentions tumos harbe and one korban, which we said is impossible to learn like Rebbe, maybe there's a way to set up that case like Rebbe as well. Says the Gemara, how we're going to do that? So the Gemara says, why does Rav Chisda go ahead and say that the second brisa, i.e. the Mishnah over there, needs to be like Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda, lok mekigon denidma dechazi bilal shmini v'Rebbehi. Wow. So what's he saying here? He's saying, why don't we suggest the following? Why don't we suggest that Rebbe holds that you don't bring the korban until day number 8. And you start counting until day number 8. But maybe Rebbe holds that you could start counting at night. Okay, you can start counting at night after day number 7 going into day number 8. So we could set up the case as follows. The nighttime comes after day number 7 going to day number 8. He starts the new count. Now he becomes Tameh seemingly when? That night. So if he becomes Tameh that night, he started the new count because it's already going into day number 8. And now he started the new count. So now when he becomes Tameh, we have Tumos Harbe. But since the Chiyuv for the Korban is not Chal until when? Until the morning on day number 8, it'll only be one Korban. So we're able to set up a case where even that'll be like Rabbi. The Gemara is going to say what I was thinking when I heard this. The Gemara is going to say, how can you have your cake and eat it too? Make up your mind. Either the day starts or doesn't start. If it starts, then you can bring the Korban. If it doesn't start, then you can't count. Says the Gemara, they're going to reject it for 2 reasons. The Gemara says, Midelo mokim la kirebi lema kisaver lele lav mechusar zmanu. No, it can't be. Since he specifically said that this is not like Rabbi, it must be that Rav Chisda holds that Laila is not mechusar zman. What does the word mechusar zman means? Mechusar zman means that you're missing the time to be able to do the korban. And therefore it must be that Rebbe holds that the Zman for the Korban is also at night. Just logistically you can't bring it at night because we don't bring Korbanos at night. So it must be that it's a Lav Mechusar Zman. You're not missing Zman at night, and therefore it must be that Rebbe would hold, again, it's seemingly the same answer as the second answer, a little bit different, but it seems as we'll see in a second, he's basically saying to him that, no, he held clearly that this price is not like Rebbe. It must be that Rav Chisda felt that Rebbe holds that really you can bring the Korban at night as well. Therefore the Chiyuv for the Korban is Chal at night. If the Chiyuv for the Korban is Chal at night, so Ein Achanami you have 2 Mos Harbe, but then you'd be Chayim more than 1 Korban, which is not what the Brisa says. In a very similar vein, Amar Rav Ada bar Abba, Haba Hatalia, Iya Amar Salele Mechusar Zman Emas Michse LeCorban LeSafra Gzeirus Nami Lo Chaylat Safra Nazirus Nami Lo Chaylat Safra Vi Amar Salele Ena Mechusar Zman Nazirus Tara Chayla Meorsa. So the difference says the first answer says that Laila is not Mechusar Zman. The first answer says that Rabbi holds within Rav Chisda that you could bring Korbanos at night. Since you could bring Korbanos at night, if you want to go ahead and set up the case that he became Tameh at night, going into day number 8, then you'll say Ein Achanami, it's Tumas Harbe, but you'll have to say also that it's not considered to be 1 Korban, he has to bring multiple Korbanos, because once he becomes Tameh, once the Chiyuv for Korbanos was already Chal, he needs to bring multiple Korbanos. Rav Ada will tell you that even if you want to say that Laila is Mechusar Zman, and that you can't bring Korbanos at night, you can't have your cake and eat it too. And he's saying once you're going to set up, whenever the Chiyuv for the Korban is Chal, that's when you can start counting the Nazirs. And therefore make up your mind, whatever you want. You want to say that you could start bringing the Korban, that the Chiyuv for the Korban is Chal at night, that's fine. So the Chiyuv for the Korban is Chayiv at night before the 8th day starts, the night of the 8th day. Therefore the Nazir starts the night of the 8th day, that's very nice. So you could have Tumas Harbe. The problem is then if you become Tameh, you Chayiv more than 1 Korban. And if you say that it's not Chal at night, and the Chiyuv for the Korban is not Chayiv until the morning, then Hava Hatalia, then that means that the Naziris can't start till the 8th day either. And if it doesn't start till the 8th day either, so then if you become Tameh at night, so then regardless, you're not going to be Tumas Harbe, because L'maisa, you're still part of the original Tumah. So it comes out that we can't learn that Gemara. Even if you want to be sly, and you want to be able to say, I know I have a case where it works with Rabbi, I'm saying it can't be with Rabbi. Because even if you want to set up the case where the guy became Tameh at night, if he became Tameh at night, you got to make up your mind. Either it's not the time for Karbanos, and therefore the Naziris is not Chal, and therefore when he became Tameh at night, he's already Tameh, because the new count hasn't started, and therefore, why does he have Tumos Harbe? I understand why he has 1 Korban, because he's still Tameh. And if you tell me that the Korbanos start during the day, so Ein Achanami, when he starts counting at night, it doesn't mean anything, because the new Nazir doesn't start till the next day, and therefore, again, it's not going to accomplish anything. So it comes out that Rebbe is like the first Brisa, or the first Brisa works within Rebbe, and the Mishnah, i.e. the second thing we brought, this case works only within Rebbe Yossi B'Rebbe Yehuda. Fine. Gufa, says the Gemara, and it's interesting, usually Gufa means it's something we quoted. This is going to be a different price than we quoted. Nitma b'shvi v'chazar v'nitma b'shvi eino maybe ala korban echad. If he's tamei on the shvi and he keeps getting tamei on the shvi, so he only brings 1 korban. Nitma b'shmini v'chazar v'nitma b'shmini maybe korban akol echad ve'echad. On the 8th day, if he becomes tamei every single time, so then he brings a korban for each one. Why? Because l'maisa, he's already the time for the korban came. And matchil umone miyad divrei Rabbi Eliezer. And you go ahead and you start counting immediately. That's Rabbi Eliezer. So what does Rabbi Eliezer say? Rabbi Eliezer holds, if you remember from before, I don't, because I didn't see Rabbi Eliezer inside, but I looked it up. Rabbi Eliezer says, if you remember from before, Rabbi Eliezer holds that you only bring a korban if you get tamei on day number 2 or later. If you take a Nazirus and you get Tameh on the day number 1 of Nazirus, then you're not Chayiv a Korban. So you're only Chayiv a Korban if you become Tameh on day number 2 or later of the Nazirus. So according to him, when it says Nitma Bishmini, V'chazar ben Nitma Bishmini, you keep becoming Tameh on the 8th day. So he's saying, Mevi Korban Akol Echad Ve'echad. He's bringing a korban for every single time you became Tameh. So let's think this outside for a second. If you're bringing a korban every time you became Tameh on day number Shmini, and Rabbi Eliezer holds you only bring a korban if you become Tameh on day number 2, what does that mean Rabbi Eliezer holds? Rabbi Eliezer must hold that Shmini is day number 2. If Shmini is day number 2, then what does he clearly hold? He clearly holds like Rabbi Yossi b'Rabbi Yehuda, who holds that you could start the new count on Tzvi on day number 7, and therefore I understand that if you keep becoming Tameh on day number 8, so then you need to bring a korban every single time, because according to Rabbi Eliezer, he adds this new caveat that you need to go ahead and you can only have to bring a korban if it's day number 2. So it's clear within this price over here that Rabbi Eliezer is holding like Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda, that you only go ahead and you could start counting, not only, you can start counting the new Nazirus on day number 7, even before bringing the thing on day number 8. So that's what we see from here. Rabbi Eliezer goes into the category of Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda. V'chachamim omer, and the Chachamim say, korban echad al hakol, you bring one korban for everything, ad sheyavi chataso, until you bring the chatas. Well, you have to bring 2 things at the end of your thing. At the end of the Nazirus, you bring a chatas and an asham, and then you also bring an ola. But the chatas and the asham are the kapara. So again, what did we have so far? Let's just make sure we're clear. Rabbi and Rabbi Eliezer hold, you start counting the new Nazirus on day number 7. You still have to bring the korban on day number 8, but you start the new Nazirus on day number 7 after going to the mikvah. We said that the other extreme, we said that Rabbi holds that, it's not another extreme. The next opinion is Rabbi holds that you start the count on day number 8, not at night, day number 8, but you can start the count on day number 8 even before you bring the korban. Now you have a new opinion of the Chachamim who say that you start counting on day number 8, but it's only one korban until Yavi Chataso. What does that mean? That means you only start the new count once you bring the chatas. So now you have Rabbi who's coming. So now you have the Chachamim who are coming and being even, I don't know if it's stricter or more lenient, but they're going to the next opinion and saying, not only do you start counting on day number 8, you don't start counting until day number 8, you don't start counting on day number 8 until you brought the korban chatas. So again, all the way on this side, Rabbi Yossi start counting day number 7 regardless. Then you have the Chachamim in the middle who say, and then you have Rabbi in the middle who says you start counting day number 8 even before the korbanos. Now you have the Chachamim on this side who say you start counting day number 8, but only after you brought the korban chatas. Hevi chataso v'nisma v'hevi chataso v'nisma maybe korban akol echad ve'echad. But if you didn't bring Hevi chatasov lo hevi ashamo mone. But once you bring the chatas, even if you haven't brought the asham, you're mone. Rabbi Yishmael ben Osha Rabbi Yochanan ben Broko omer kashem shechataso ikvaso kein ashamo ma'afa. Now you have a fourth opinion, all the way on the right, or on the left, wherever you want to set it up. The fourth opinion is Rabbi Yishmael, who says you start counting day number 8, but you don't start counting the new Nazirus until you not only bring the chatas, until you bring the asham as well. Count day number 7, count day number 8 in the morning, count day number 8 after bringing the chatas, count day number 8 after bringing the chatas and the asham. Those are the 4 opinions. Bishlama Rabbi Eliezer Amar Kra. I understand Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda, you start counting on day number 7 because the Kra says V'kidash es rosho bayomahu. On day number 7, Afa Pishlo Hevi Korbanosov. V'Rabbanan, and the Rabbanan who hold that you start counting on day number 8 after bringing the korban chatas, hahu alfa pishlo hevi ashamo. So by yomahu, and clearly this would be also within Rabbi, hahu is fine, al pishlo hevi ashamo. And he's telling me by yomahu, even though you didn't bring the asham yet. Ela Rabbi Yishmael hahu lamali. According to Rabbi Yishmael, that you only start counting after the chatas and the asham. So what's by yomahu coming to teach me? It's obvious. You start counting on that day after everything is done for that day. Says the Gemara, li amar lecha, hahu afa pishlo hevi ola. So hahu teaches me that once you start bringing the asham and the chatas, you could start counting, even though you haven't brought the ola yet. Okay. V'Rabbanan ola lo bai miyuta. Why does anybody else need a miyut for the ola? Doron ba'almahu, because again, the ola is not brought as part of the kaparas; it's brought as an extra gift to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and therefore they hold that you don't need any miyut for the ola. And therefore, again, we've been able to explain by yomahu according to everybody, and you have these 4 opinions: day number 7, day number 8, day number 8 after the chatas, day number 8 after the chatas v'asham is when you can start counting the new count. We'll pick up here. It's a new sugya here. We'll pick up here tomorrow.